I could go into why I don't like them,
Do
but
it.
the list is just extremely long. I never take a stand one way or the other because I don't want people to decide how they think because of something I said. But I'm a Republican. I'm a never Trump Republican. Well, don't you remember back when nobody gave a shit who you voted for? I mean, just nobody cared. You you just voted for somebody. Now it's really divisive, right? No, because they're going to walk around Texas. You can't come into Texas and start shooting people. We'll shoot you back. That's our policy.
Yeah.
We will just everybody in Texas. That's why they're rarely a club shooting or a bank robbery with guns because everybody has guns here, and so there is I would love to see some gun control, but my position with gun control is let's just make the club a little harder to join. I'm not going to give up my guns, and I'm not asking anybody else to, because they've already proven that they're responsible gun owners, right? Because they've owned a gun for years, an AR or whatever, haven't killed anybody with it. So
Right.
And I'm from the Panhandle of Texas, and nobody up there hunts with an AR-15. They've all got them,
Right.
but they don't hunt with them. It's just for protection. And
Right.
I genuinely believe in every case it is. But I would just like to make that. So we're in a club. We all have them, right? We all have these guns, I think we make that club hard to join. So you can't just waltz in and waltz out. The very thought of somebody saying, "Yeah, we got to get rid of guns," well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of something that's already here.
Right?
And it's
I agree.
embedded in our society. It's a right we have as citizens to carry these guns. So, 1/8 of a gram of marijuana. They pulled me off my plane. I used to have a plane,
Wow.
and it was just me on the plane. I was looking out the window. We were landed in Fort Pierce, Florida, and I'm looking out the window, and there's like a SWAT team out there with dogs and vests, and and I'm like, wow, what's going on? I wonder as I'm looking out the window, and these pilots that I've fired for being dickheads. There's a number you can call that's an anonymous number that you can say, hey, that plane is a drug plane. And then if you know the tail number of a plane, you have a software called FlightAware. You can follow any plane in the world anywhere it goes. And so right before I would land somewhere, they would call the DEA or whatever and tell them they pulled me off the plane and they told me what happened, and I told them what happened. Guys, the cops that were there, they were fans, and they were like, sorry about this. They knew I was there to do a show. They knew I wasn't a drug smuggler. And they said, can we put our dogs on the plane? And I'm like, I put them on there. And, of course, the dogs were like, roar, 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 because I smoked pot on the plane. The guy goes, the dog needs to sniff that bag on your shoulder. And I was like, roar, roar. So whenever I said, yeah, here, this is all that's on there, a little bitty, tiny bit. And the guy said, oh, they're not going to do anything about that. And then the sheriff that they called, said, bring him in. He's a flight risk because he has a plane. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And they took me to city jail, and I sat in there. And it was kind of funny. Back then, I used to get $5,000 a night in cash because I don't understand money and I like to see it. So I'd done 7 or 8 shows, so I had like $35,000 in that bag. And so I get to jail, and the guy goes, I need to count that money. He goes, 1 Mississippi. No, you can't count it like that. Just count it off stacks of 100. Just count off 100 at a time. There's 5,000. They said, I'm teaching him how to count. And come on, man. I know what to do at the theater, and they moved me over to county jail, and they were just making announcements at the theater. Okay, he's out of city, but they're putting him in county jail. I was like, yeah. So when I got out, there was a truckload of kids. This is how fast news moves. And they had made these signs that said "Free Tater," and they were in the back of this truck. And I wish I would have. I was freaked out because I was going to be 2 hours late for the show, which I've never a minute late for anything. Right. And so I got there, and the crowd. One person left, apologized for leaving, so the whole crowd was still there. And next time I went there, it just bumped because it was such a ridiculous arrest. I mean, they drove by 3 meth labs and a dead hooker just to get to where I was,
right.
And it just bumped all sales, ticket sales, book sales. And next time I came back in there, I did 5 shows because it was just ridiculous, a ridiculous use of manpower